Hello, today is May 28th, 2017. My last call said that for Friday the most likely occurrence was a gap and a quick move outside the day's range. That didn't happen. I said the next most likely occurrence was we closed a little change and have the big move on Tuesday when the market reopened, and that turned out to be an understatement. We didn't have much of a change in the close at all. Now, as you know, my good friend William Blount passed away about a week ago. He used to post on a chat room, and the people in there have asked me if I would contribute some of the stuff he used to contribute. It's kind of like saying Frank Sinatra is no longer with us. We'd like you to sing some of his songs. But what I will do is contribute his postings for the daily pattern. I think it's important to look at today's daily pattern because I believe the exact same pattern is going to occur when the market reopens on Tuesday. There's an early high before lunch. There's a retest of the high around lunch. And depending on whether the retest exceeds this high or not, one can predict what will happen by the close with a reasonable degree of accuracy. If we don't exceed this high, the close tends to be under these highs, and if we do exceed the high, the close tends to be over these highs. That's the pattern I'm looking for on Tuesday as well. This is my MEJT system. I'll go over this again at the end of the video because I do have some new viewers on Bill's site. Basically, these lines are support resistance levels. F means it's a false move. A white dot means the target printed within its preferred time frame. So early on, the system said ultimately higher prices would print. Here's the target. It printed and there's resistance over it. It said ultimately lower prices would print. Here it printed at the target, support under it. The move is called to be false. These were the targets. This one was hit here. Here's the white dot. And this one was hit here. There's the white dot. I'll come back to that later. Well, what's going to happen on Tuesday? Well, I've been looking for a top around 2420. Let's go over the indicators. Here's the weekly chart. The green numbers are Tom DeMark's combo signal, and the blue numbers are his sequential signal. Bar 13 is a combo sell signal. It says the market's extremely overextended. We have bar number 12 of a sequential sell signal 2. We need 13 to complete the signal, but the signal doesn't have to go to completion. And the last bar can finish early. Any print over this high, which is 2405.77, any print will be bar number 13. So we'll have combo and sequential sell signals on the weekly chart. In alignment with that, here's the daily chart. Here's a sequential sell signal. Here's the stop loss, which is interpreted loosely based on the closing price around 2416.81, and you can see we've been unable to close over that. We have only 12 bars of a combo sell, but the last 3 bars, 11, 12, and 13, don't have to obey all the rules. This one's close enough, so as far as I'm concerned, we have a combo and sequential sell both on the daily and the weekly chart. That's called alignment. It's a very negative pattern. These things have failed a number of times on the 8+ year rally, but when they work in spades. Now, going along with this, we have the narrowest range we've had in a long time. Narrow ranges tend to be followed by large moves the following day. So I look for a large move Tuesday And since I think we have a top, that large move should be up. Excuse me, that large move should be down. That doesn't mean we have to drop right from the open. I would still like to see 24.20, but of course it doesn't have to print, and if it prints, if it's equivalent prints in the overnight futures market, that could be enough for me. Usually when you have a large move, it starts with a gap down. I do have a standard rule that a smart gap in the undesired direction kills my call before the open. So if we gap up sharply when we reopen on Tuesday, which I'm not expecting, the chance that the call is going to work drop and the call's canceled before the open. So for Tuesday's open, I'm looking for a pattern like this, an early high, a retest. I think the retest will fail. I think we'll have a big drop. I have a 24.20 target, but I think we're close enough already with this high that if it doesn't print, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Well, since I have some new viewers, let me go over how the MEJT system works. Now, I have a contract with my publisher. I'm allowed to give the targets, but not how they're derived. All the rules are in my book, which they're available online, and they're cheap. The rules are explained in the software on TradeStation. It's not as cheap, but if you're going to risk any money on anything, don't risk any money on my system or anyone else's system if you don't understand it first and if you haven't tried it on paper first. Anyway, most systems give buy signals that mean buy, and they give sell signals that mean sell, and it predicts the direction of the next move. That's not how my system works. A signal to buy means you're going to have a higher target within the preferred time frame. It doesn't predict the next move necessarily. A sell signal is just the opposite. It says there is a lower price target. There's a preferred time frame. There's support under lower targets, resistance over higher targets. So how would you have used this on Friday? Well, let's take this here. At the end of this time, the system said lower prices were targeted and higher prices were targeted. It said you were close to a support level and a resistance level. It really didn't encourage any trade in either direction, which turned out to be the right thing. It just looked for a wishy-washy market. When this market dropped, if you were positive, it at least told you were at a support level and gave you the resistance level. To me, that's not enough to risk any money, but at least if you wanted to risk some, it gave you a reasonable entry and a reasonable exit. Tuesday should be an exciting day, unless we gap up very strongly, which I don't think is going to happen. We have a possibility of 24.20, but it should be a big down day with the times pretty close. The change in trend times pretty much the same as we had Friday, and that's today's call.